Aloha, this is Sky with Feminist News Network, Feminist News that you can use. Coming to you from the Rainbow Room. Yes, it's the Rainbow Room at night. Alright, so, and I would like to talk about the legacy of Aretha Franklin. She has now passed on to that diva place in the sky. Now, her legacy, with all her numerous awards, adulations, Grammys, and so on, there's one important thing we must remember about Miss Aretha Franklin. Not the woman that was raised in Tennessee and her daddy's church that moved on to Detroit and became that soulful voice that gave it down to you the way she did, but the activist and feminist that she was. We must remember she was the woman that was willing to put up the money for Angela Davis when she was locked up in California and well, sent to California and was locked up. And though she didn't actually get to do it, she made the statement. It was out there. It was put into Ebony and Jet magazine, and she said her reasons why. Now, we got those reasons why on Democracy Now! Let's take a listen to it. All right.
For Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. She died Thursday at her home in Detroit at the age of 76. For decades, Aretha Franklin has been celebrated as one of the greatest American singers of any genre, who helped give birth to soul and redefine the American musical tradition. In 1987, Aretha Franklin became the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She held the record for the most songs on the Billboard Top 100 for 40 years. Rolling Stone ranked her the greatest singer of all time on its Top 100 list, calling her a gift from God. She would sing at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral after his assassination in 1968. The Reverend Jesse Jackson said Aretha anonymously helped fund the civil rights movement for decades. He said, quote, "When Dr. King was alive, several times she helped us make payroll. Aretha has always been a very socially conscious artist and inspiration, not just an entertainer." In 1970, Aretha Franklin offered to post bail for Angela Davis, who was in jail on trumped-up charges. She told Jet magazine, "Angela Davis must go free. Black people will be free. I'm going to see her free if there's any justice in our courts. Not because I believe in communism, but because she's a black woman and she wants freedom for black people," Aretha said.
And that the church is a place certainly where she found her voice and where she learned her craft, but it's also the place where she was steeped in a kind of political culture. Her father is in the tradition of the great prophetic black preachers. He himself was an activist. Her church was an Reverend C.L. Franklin, right, a very gifted orator, but also an activist and confidant of Martin Luther King, for instance. And so right alongside with her musical training, I think it would have been that kind of political culture as well. And then she sort of stepped out on her own, having always supported Dr. King, supported Reverend Jesse Jackson. But I think especially with that public statement in support of Angela Davis, she really sort of articulated her own sort of political courage and conviction.
Look at what's happening in Ferguson, what happened with police officers or whatever. Do you think your songs were the anthem to civil rights, to the civil rights movement? So many songs were
Well,
played.
respect was a mantra for the civil rights movement. It was.
Do you feel we're moving forward or fast enough?
I think that we have come a very, very long way. We've come to the forefront in many fields, of course, entertainment, sports, and so on, but we still have a long way to go.
I had earlier in the week...
But we have made great strides.
You think so?
Yes.
Because you were there, you saw it, you were on the front lines.
No, I wasn't on the front line, but I was with Dr. King from church service to church service. I went out on a mini tour with him when he first started.
That's a line.
Yeah.
That's a line.
Well, I was behind Dr. King, and I was a very young girl.
From December 3rd, 1970. Its headline, Aretha says she'll go Angela's bond if permitted. In it, Aretha Franklin is quoted saying, "My daddy says I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I respect him, of course, but I'm going to stick by my beliefs. Angela Davis must go free. Black people will be free. I've been locked up for disturbing the peace in Detroit, and I know you got to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace. Jail is hell to be in. I'm going to see her free if there's any justice in our courts, not because I believe in communism, but because she's a black woman and she wants freedom for black people. I have the money. I got it from black people. They made me financially able to have it, and I want to use it in ways that will help our people." Those are the words of Aretha Franklin. She's talking about Professor Angela Davis.
She made a public statement indicating that she would pay my bail back in 1970. But perhaps I'll say a few words about that to begin. When Aretha decided to hold a press conference announcing that she would pay up to $250,000, which in today's currency would be probably about $1.5 million. It was really a high point in the campaign, and I believe that many people who may have been reluctant to associate themselves with me because of my communist affiliations probably joined the campaign as a result of Aretha's statement. When I actually became eligible for bail, unfortunately, Aretha was out of the country. She was in the Caribbean. And during those days, prior to the emergence of global capitalism, money did not flow so easily across national borders. And therefore, a white farmer from Central California who agreed to put up his farm. But that was such a moving moment. It was a moment in which the campaign for my freedom achieved a really popular status among people in this country and probably throughout the world as well. I will be forever grateful to Aretha because I think she played such an integral role in the success of the campaign.
Now, that was said just right and explained her activism well. She did a lot, from singing at inaugurals, which she has done more than anybody. She has gave back to her community time and time again. You have heard how she gives to her church, always goes back to her church, always gives to her community every holiday to feed. You know, she can be a giving woman or she can be a stern woman, like she was in the 2011 interview with Wendy Williams. You can catch it on YouTube. It's all over the place. I love it, especially when she goes, "Oh, Miss Franklin." She goes, "Don't mess with me, child." Especially when she told that she could donate. She should have said she was going to give a little something. I don't care how many years you in that show. You got enough to fork over one of those rings. You know what I'm saying? Put it in the pot or something. You know how they do when they pass that plate back. All right. So, we want to commemorate Aretha Franklin for the activist that she was, for being that type of woman, that type of mother that cared about the black community and was down for them. May her dream to have equality for all black women live on. Rest in peace. Diva of Divas. the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. And if you appreciate stories like these, contact me at FeministNewsN@gmail.com. Check out my Facebook page and my YouTube channel where you can subscribe. September the 7th, we'll be showing for subscribers to 2018 Lava Crisis. So, subscribe to watch, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. And remember, Aretha will live on through song, but her activism must be told strong. Peace.